Hello everyone.
Hey Shireen, apa khabar?
Saya bagus saja. How are you?
Fantastic. Couldn't be better.
I should say good day, mate. Welcome back
Yes.
to RTV.
Oh, the slang.
Anyway,
somebody is down, somebody is in Australia. Down
yeah.
under.
But that's before we let them know about that. We're kicking off episode 2 of season 5 with another amazing, bubbly guest and a conversation that's definitely going to hit home for everyone, all of us. So make sure you stay tuned to what's going to be happening. Over to you,
Okay,
Koljit.
thank you to
Hmm.
all our viewers. Thank you for joining us. Grab your lunch and get cozy. We are having a wonderful session today. A very fresh topic, exciting, and seriously is very impactful to everybody today.
Yeah, betul Ajit. But first, well, like you know where I am streaming from today, down under Australia, while sending my youngest son off to university. The saddest moment I can have. But I think someone else is sadder than me lah, my son. I'm still fine. So almost down with no internet, but well, you know me, right? Nothing is going to make this episode impossible to me. It has to always, always, always happen. And trust me, you don't want to miss it either because today's topic, you know what it is all about? It is about happiness is a serious business and it is serious. Right, Ajit?
That That's so right, Shireen. That's so right. This episode is packed with insight strategies, and we are going to talk about why happiness isn't just nice to have in an organization, but it is really important for organization to strive. Before we dive into our topic, let's introduce. Allow me to introduce HRTV a little bit, especially to the newbies or the first timers who have joined us. Okay, for those who are tuning in, we are known as HRTV, HRTV family, and we have been around and doing some of these podcasts for the past how many years, Shirin? 4, 5 years?
5 years. This is our fifth
Five
year.
years. Okay. We are known as hashtag HR intervents, commonly referred to hashtag HRTV. It is an online talk show presented by Compass Mind Asia, a renowned corporate training provider. Our episodes we engage all type of discussions predominantly about HR leadership, engagements and things like that. And we have a wide range of topics that we have covered, which are also available to be viewed by everyone else, relates to HR and career development.
Yeah, that's right. Uh, in the past seasons, right, we have dwelled into many fascinating topics like agile HRBP, also what the future proofing of the workforce. That's a very important topic, among many, many, many others. So, in case you missed any of the past episodes, don't worry because we've got you covered. You just need to lead on to my YouTube channel, Shireen Kelly, to watch. It's at the ticker below. Well, you can choose to binge watch, which could be a great idea, or you can choose to also make it as your study library for your office for people to watch and learn from all the experts that has come through the last 5 years. So you must also be wondering if you are in the right place at the right time. I can assure you, yes, you are, because this show, I was just talking to a client just now, and she said, "Oh, is it only HR people?" I said, "No. This topic, happiness, is a serious business. It's for everyone, whether you're a HR manager, a director, a C suite, a business owner, or even a job seeker just starting a journey into the job market. This session is for you, and you're going to be in for a real treat. So stay tuned, guys.
Yes, exactly. Well said, Shireen. This session is for anybody and everybody, and there's always a learning. And the good part is we bring it during lunch hour, so everybody's got an hour of lunch, you can dial in, and this is learn as you eat. As always, we want this session to be as interactive as possible. So please do drop us an hello. Do tell us where you are from. Do send us an emoji, what you are having for lunch, and do have some interaction with us. We would love to hear. We would love to hear where you are, what you are doing, and things like that. Okay, in case for people who doesn't know me, my name is Koljit. People call me Ajit. I bring along 25 years of HR experience. But today is not about me. Today we have got a wonderful speaker. Let's stay tuned for the speaker.
Yeah. And before we move on to the speaker, I'm Shireen Kelly, the Managing Director of Compass Mind Asia, and we'd like to welcome you to HR Intervention Season 5, Episode
Episode
2.
2.
Oh, I'm sitting down here and dancing, and then reminded and then reminded me of this YouTube that I watch, America's Got Talent, I think. So if you want to say yes, it's like this: yes. If it's no, no.
No, oh, okay. So the yes
Ah,
wobbles longer, is it?
yes. Also this way with a smile, no.
No. Oh,
Last
okay, okay. I
week,
get
I'm
you.
not
Okay,
sure
okay.
who has watched
Mm.
it. It's so good. Anyway, back to the show. We welcome everyone back again. There's a
Shireen,
lot
before
of
that, what's the weather in Australia like?
summer.
You enjoying it?
Hot in the daytime, cool in the night, so that's quite okay. Can't
I'm so
complain.
jealous. I'm so jealous. I'm so jealous.
So in the morning when I
Okay, now
go for my exercise, it's still hot, but I walk on the trails. They've got a lot of trees and greenery, so that's really nice. Yeah.
nice,
Hi,
nice, nice.
Vigneshwari. Wiki. Hi, Wik. Nice to meet you. Welcome to the show. We like to welcome everyone into the show. There's a lot of celebrations back to back, isn't it? Last year from to this year. So, how's your celebrations been so far, Ajit?
My celebrations have been nice. There's a lot has been happening. The year passed so fast. I can still remember vividly how I was celebrating Christmas. After Christmas, then we had New Year, then Chinese New Year, then Thaipusam, and not long after this, we're going to have Hari Raya. You can imagine what happens during all this festive season. Actually, eat, eat, and eat. Okay, there's so much of food being Malaysia, being Malaysian. Every event we indulge into food. So my festival has been fantastic. Has been great, but I've been eating a lot.
I know, never mind. There'll always be times where there's no festival, and then there's the time we don't get food except our whole home cooked food or eating out. Yeah, because in Malaysia we get to eat out. In Australia, it's so expensive per meal, 15 Aussie a day
Oh
per
my
person.
god!
Yes, a kebab, which is something I love, my husband loves, 15 Aussie per person. Yeah, so it's
Oh
very expensive.
yeah,
Yeah,
very
so
expensive.
for 45 ringgit for one meal.
Not worth
Anyway,
it.
nothing compares to the joy of being surrounded by positivity in our lives. Which brings me to today's topic, which is HR TV, called Happiness is a Serious Business. Isn't that
True, true,
wonderful? Yay.
true. Just before we jump into our discussion, over to you, Shireen, to introduce our wonderful guest that we have today. I am very excited with her. She's very bubbly from the time that she jumped into our channel earlier. She's so bubbly, Shireen. I'm more excited than others actually.
Uh, yeah, me too. And I'm so honored to introduce her, Ajay. So our speaker for today, for all our people who are, for all our viewers, she is one of the most respected figures in the HR industry. Vinny Raviraj is her name. A lot of you will definitely know her. She's a dynamic and a visionary HR leader with over 18 years of experience driving strategic growth and transformative initiatives in high growth startups and multinational operations, including the BPO sectors. She is full of life and full of bubble in her. You will love her later. Known for spearheading talent acquisition models that double project expansions, reduce turnover significantly, and enhance employee engagement. Isn't that something you really want in your organization? She's got proven track records in designing and implementing comprehensive HR systems, fostering partnership with government sectors and universities, and positioning companies as employer of choice in the competitive APAC landscape. Committed to nurturing talent, promoting diversity, and ensuring a harmonious, inclusive workplace. As a senior HR director, Winnie helps organizations transform their people strategies into powerful drivers of business success, leveraging many extensive experience to deliver impactful results across different sectors. Looking at this profile, I am so thrilled to welcome our guest for today. Let's bring her in with lots of big claps and hearts. Welcome, Winnie.
Hello, hi everyone. Hi Shireen, hi Ajay. Thank you everyone for being here today.
Welcome,
Thank
Vinny. Welcome, welcome, and thank you for joining us today for this new session. It's truly our honor to have you. After hearing what Sherin has said, I am now more excited to see how to get our session going. Okay. Before we move on, we would like to know a little bit about your journey and your perspective and about all that. Before we dive any further, would you want to tell us something interesting about yourself for the audience to know? Something that probably the others does not know yet, any of your
Okay, so
hobbies or
maybe
any
I'll give you
fun
a
fact
fun
about
fact
you.
about me. So I'll give you a fun fact about me. I'd say I'd become a bit of a nature nurturer. I'm an avid gardener, always digging into earth, watching life unfold. But what truly defines my my journey now, somehow I've earned the title of a butterfly whisperer. I raise
Oh,
caterpillars, watching them transform, guiding them from metamorphosis and then setting them free. A small act of wonder that never gets old. And then, as if that wasn't enough, it also seems that birds have caught on too. Stray birds now flock to my space, turning my garden into a sanctuary, a meeting ground of wings and whispers, you can call it. So, yes, my fun fact is it's more than just gardening. It's magical connection with nature, butterflies and birds and blooms are part of my daily companion. So, yes, you could say I'm the little Alice in the Wonderland, or Winnie's in her own Wonderland.
wow, this is really fantastic. So
you.
maybe share a little bit of the secret. What did you do that, or how long did it take you to get all these wonderful creatures to come into your garden, to your space?
It took me about 12 years of completely turning my failed garden and then thriving garden and then failed and thrive and fail and thrive garden to fully flourish and have its landscape. So after the 12th year, I recall writing this on Facebook of how my journey started with my gardening. I think it was my 10th year, but it was about 2 years later, slowly the relationship with the ecosystem started, from birds and butterflies and then grasshoppers, anything with wings. And I'll have beautiful beetles that has got that looks like a mask or a face. Things started becoming very unique. Squirrels, yeah, I even learned how to knock and call a squirrel. So it's a little ecosystem that started thriving in my garden. So and I started living in that fantasy, or rather my reality now. Yeah.
Wow,
Wow, this is
so
Yeah.
nice. I
this
think
really resonates.
we are inviting ourselves to Winnie's garden.
You're most
I don't
welcome.
know about
It's
you.
nature's humble
I don't know
abode.
about you,
So it's
Shireen. I
What's
don't
that?
know about you, Shireen, but I'm definitely going there because I'm also in the process of doing my own gardening. I think Shireen, you probably would have seen some of the horrible garden I have in my house now. I'm starting. So there's a lot that I could learn, get inspired.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, we'll go take a look one day. Winnie, we will need teh tarik ready when we come.
Come on over, guys. Come for a tour. You're always welcome.
Oh,
A coffee in the garden with butterflies and birds. Ah, you can't get better than that. It's magical.
Fantastic.
awesome. We'll be
Where do you
there.
live, by the way, Vinny? Which part of where do you live?
USJ.
Oh, okay, not far away.
Mwah.
Okay,
Nah.
be there very soon. All right.
We
So
have
let's say hello to Kristen Kamini. Hi, Kristen. She says, hello, everyone. Hugs and kisses to Winnie. Woohoo! Yeah, we're so excited as you are, Kristen. I can feel the excitement and energy through through your messaging. So let's get the session started today.
yes.
So today we're going to be talking about something that fuels success, which is happiness. Happiness is a serious business, and we've all seen it, like in long coffee breaks, disengaged employees, and the countdown to weekends. How people are excited just counting days to the weekend. How many days okay, we are 2 days to 3 days to the weekend now. Okay, but I wasn't counting. You see, I don't even realize it. So we enjoy what we do, then we don't these things don't matter. So we want, I think, Winnie, you're going to teach people about how to get there today. So workplace happiness, is it just a nice to have, or is it a real business strategy? Let's break it down. Why happiness matters, how it impacts business, and what leaders can do to create a thriving workplace. So, Winnie, are you ready for us to jump in with our first question?
Go for
Yeah,
it.
awesome. Can you help us understand further what is the definition of employee happiness?
Sharon and Koljit, there's a principle I truly believe in. Happiness isn't something you find, it's something you create. So, when we talk about employee happiness, many people still narrow it down to job satisfaction. Do they like their jobs, their salaries, the perks? But here's the thing, right? Real happiness at work goes way beyond that. Yes, job satisfaction is part of it, definitely. But true employee happiness is about a holistic approach. It's about emotional well being, feeling like your work has meaning and truly belonging. It's knowing you're, you're valued, that you're connected, and you're empowered to make an impact. It's knowing that what you do actually matters. If it makes sense.
Yeah, like us that we don't even know. We're so happy. You mentioned about happiness goes beyond job satisfaction, and you also elaborated a little bit. But could you go further, deeper into elaborating on the broader aspects of employee happiness?
Sure. So when we talk about employee happiness, it's just not about being comfortable at work. It's about feeling connected, having a sense of progress. People just don't wake up excited because they have a job. They do when their work means something to them, right? So let's break it down. First, it is purpose. When people feel their work has meaning and aligns with their personal values, they show up differently. I'm sure we can relate to this, right? I once asked, okay, let's call him Abu. Okay, see, Shalin, your write-up is making an impact. So I once asked Abu, what keeps him here? What keeps you here? And he said, I don't just process data. I help people solve problems. Isn't that a fantastic perspective and a way you see your purpose in job? That's what purpose does. It turns a job into a mission. Second is relationship. We spend most of our waking hours at office, and the people we work with, they matter. A strong supportive team can make or break happiness. I've heard another Abu say, I stay because of my team, or my manager actually listens, or I feel seen. Those relationships create belonging, and belonging creates loyalty, right? Third is growth. No one wants to feel stuck. When companies provide learning opportunity, career challenges, and real paths for development, employees stay engaged. I've seen employees go from quiet contributors to confident leaders just because someone invested in them. One Abu even told me, I never thought I'll be leading a team, but here I am. That sense of pride, right? That's what happens when growth is priority. So, happiness at work isn't just about being feeling stress free or having fun perks. It's also about knowing your work matters, feeling supported, and having room to grow. And when companies get this right, people don't just work or strive, they thrive.
So brilliantly said, isn't it, Ajay?
Yes, fantastic. I like the idea where you need to have a purpose. Then your purpose will then you need to be supported with good relationship. Then finally you need to have some sense of growth in the organization. I think that resonates very much with almost everybody. Thank you, Vinny. Fantastic. Good sharing. let's let's move on to the next part of it. You know, what are some of the most common reasons employees feel unhappy and disengaged in their workplace today? We talk a lot about happiness. Let's talk a little bit about what can be the reason that they're not so happy about.
Mm.
You know, Akoji, it's really one big thing. It's usually small frustrations that piles up over time. And when those frustrations aren't addressed, people start mentally checking out long before they actually leave. So toxic culture would stand out as one of the top reasons. A paycheck isn't enough just to make people stay in an environment that drains them. If there's favoritism, lack of recognition, or a culture of fear, people disengage. And let's be honest, people don't leave companies; they leave bad managers. We have heard about this over and over again, right? So people don't disengage overnight. They disengage when they feel unheard, stuck, exhausted, and unappreciated. And if companies want to fix this, it's not about adding perks, it's about listening, act, responding, and making people feel valued every single day. Then it's the other thing, burnout. Long hours, unrealistic expectations, and a constant feeling of being being on where wears people down. Someone once told me, another Abu, no, I love my job, but I don't love how exhausted I feel all the time. And that's a red flag. Employees aren't machines, they need balance, not just motivation. For example, at Foundever, we take this very seriously. This is why we emphasize holistic well-being programs. We emphasize on mental health support and flexible hybrid work models. We have platforms like what we call as Ever Better, which helps employees not just perform better but live better. It's an open interactive channel that shows how well people spend their day, not just working, but living their life with purpose. It includes hobbies, sports, art fancies, wellness program, yoga, meditation, gardening, and a whole lot of others. There is a community of people globally of the same interest or hobby, shared passion, love for sports, dance, yoga, whatever that helps people to thrive beyond work, encouraging our team members to embrace their passion. It's then further extended by another thing, what we call as create your best moment, an appreciation initiative, either through words, actions, time, or small gestures, showing our love language, word of affirmation, gift of care, act of service. And if you look at all this, right, at the heart of it all, isn't it all about human connection? Because at the end of the day, people stay where they feel they belong. When employees feel appreciated, not just for what they do, but for who they are, they just don't clock in. They contribute with a heart. They just don't fulfill tasks. They bring passion, ideas, and sense of belonging. And that is the real key to engagement.
Brilliant, lovely. I really like the way you put it all. Let's welcome Ayu. Hi, Ayu. Hi, Harun. We've got Rahman. We've got Clarice, LinkedIn user.
Hello.
Welcome, everyone. So lovely to see you guys here. Rahman Sadzik. All right.
Have a hashtag. What? Simple joy matters. Agreed.
Yeah, simple. matters. That's true. I don't know. Oh, that's from Kristen. Yeah, see it on my.
Simple joys is my tagline that I use for most of my postings. So those who know me know that I live my life by simple joys. Hashtag.
Winnie,
Fantastic.
I think I'm a lot like you. My ex boss used to tell me, I just buy you a tin of Milo and it already makes you happy.
Yeah, it's all being great, great being grateful, isn't it? At the end of the day, huh? Little
Exactly.
things.
We don't need
For
the big
me, Shireen, it's a packet of fries, French fries, to make me happy. French fries, not coffee.
To
stuff.
each
Not
their own.
okay. I've never heard of the French fries before. Yeah, but you see, that just that little small things that can really cheer someone up. So it's yeah, it's what it is. It doesn't need to be big. It's just those little joys in life. Hi Nurul. Hi Joyce. Welcome. Okay, yeah. Let's give them some hearts. Let's give Winnie some hearts, guys. All right. Uh, I've got another question for you, Winnie. How does employee happiness impact an organization's bottom line and also long term success?
Let's put it this way. Happy employees don't just work harder, they work smarter. And when people are engaged, they are not just doing tasks, they're thinking, they're innovating, and they're caring about results. That's a game changer for any business. So, the direct impact when you see dissatisfaction or disengagement, oh, the first one is always productivity. According to Oxford study, right, it shows that happy employees at 13% are 13% more productive. And I've seen this firsthand. When people feel valued, they go extra mile. I once asked an employee during her time what kept her motivated, and she said, "I just don't do my job. I care about what I'm doing and how well I'm doing." Now, that's a difference between someone who's present and someone who's truly engaged. The second
Mm,
impact is it has on lower attritions. Turnover is expensive, darn expensive. Every time a company loses an employee, they're not just losing a person, they're losing knowledge, they're losing relationships, they're losing momentum, right? And that has got a direct impact on customer experience. You can't fake great services. A disengaged employee might follow a script, but a happy employee creates real connections. There are reasons why companies like Zappos and Ritz Carlton is another. They prioritize employee happiness because happy employee leads to happy customers, and happy customers stick around. Our client says, I'm sure you guys do, we stay with you because your people care. That's the ROI of engagement. And in the long run, employee happiness builds innovation, reputation, profitability. Very simple. When people feel good about their work, they don't just meet expectation, they push boundaries.
mm,
Google found that psychological safety, which is a key factor in happiness, was their number one predictor of high performing teams. So, what's the bottom line? When employees thrive, business thrive. It's just not a nice to have, it's a comparative advantage.
woohoo. Well,
Wonderful.
I now learn, Ajit, before you move on to another question, I now learn that what makes Winnie happy is onde onde. So when we go
Oh,
for masala chat to her house, we better bring the onde
I wonder
onde.
who's giving you all the side whispers in the chat box there.
Yeah, and let's say hello to Arina and Iswari too. Welcome. All right, now Ajit, back to
hi
you.
Shuri, hi Arina. Okay, anyway, Shireen, I also like onde onde.
Okay, then we'll buy
See,
double the onde onde and we'll have more happiness. Yay.
Okay, okay, Vinny, I like this session. It's like I like the energy. It's so positive, and what you're saying is exactly right. Happy employees, they tend to work smarter, and then they tend to give you better results. I totally agree with that. No? Now, my question is about employee. Is it employee happiness solely the responsibility of HR department? Especially as it often falls under employee relations or employee engagement activities. So they park it very conveniently to HR. Or so, what's your take on this?
I need to really say this very firmly, La. It's so funny how some leaders think HR owns everything about employees, right? Like if engagement scores drop or dips, it's HR's job to fix. That's so outdated, guys. That's so outdated. Happiness isn't an HR initiative, it's a leadership commitment. Gallup research, let me share that with you, right? Shows 70% of engagement comes down to direct managers. See, HR can always provide you the tools, the final analytics, right? Or the predictive models. But if leaders aren't driving engagement, nothing is going to stick. Think about it. Who do employees interact with most? Their managers. If someone feels unheard or undervalued, no HR policy can fix that. We have also had employees say, I love this company, what this company stands for, but my manager makes me want to leave. That's the reality. People don't leave companies, they leave bad leaderships. But
Yeah.
there's also the opposite truth. I've seen employees stay through tough times because they had leaders who truly supported and invested in them. It's just not a top down either. Employees also play a very, very important role because engagement isn't just what the company gives you, it also how people show up. A great workplace isn't a program. It should be the way of life for any organization, correct? So
Mm.
next an example I can share. At Foundever, we don't just measure engagement, we act on it. We have something called the Max Pulse, for example. It's a real-time sentiment tool where employees check in daily. We have green, yellow, and red with comments. But that's the key. Here's the key, right? HR owns the platform, but leaders own the action. When trends emerge, it's their job to step in and solve the issue and respond to the issue real time. See, these aren't just initiatives, they are part of how we operate as an organization. So engagement isn't just a one-time survey or a annual HR report. It's ongoing, it's collective responsibility. When companies take this kind of approach, employees don't just feel heard, they feel valued.
Hmm. I want to ask you, you mentioned about green, blue, yellow approach. You want to elaborate a little bit more on that?
So what we have is when they log in into our platforms, there's the first thing that appears before they can even connect into their site is the smileys. So you have the green smiley, which is the happy smiley. Then you have that meh, neither here, neither there, hanging on the fence kind of emotion. And then you have the red face, the angry
Mm.
bird face. So, and then
Okay.
you also have like a feedback. So every day employee gets to express their emotions, how they're feeling, or even bring up feedbacks or if they have something to say, if they have something to voice out. It works both ways. So it's something that we encourage our employee. We track the results every day. We track it weekly. We track it monthly. We analyze it. We provide reports so that our leaders get to see what are the sentiments in their division and what are the opportunities that they get to address or to have a focus strategy.
And this is a daily thing that they need to answer?
It's not like they need to answer, they have that access to do it every day. And one
Okay.
thing that I notice in today's generation, people love to express their feelings even when the weather is upsetting them, even whether the traffic is upsetting them, even just on that day they are having a mad day, people just feel like voicing out how they feel. And when we have such kind of sentiments, imagine if you have a manager of a seven, for example, and he gets to see like, oh, today I've got a team of people who are feeling gloomy, little moody. What can I do to spark it up?
Yeah,
See? So you
that's
can
true.
use this kind of sentiments to help you manage your people. Because at the
Mm.
end of the day, we're dealing with human beings. Emotions matters.
It sure does. So Raman says we work with people, not just merely tasks and KPIs, which is so true. It's all about their
Yeah.
emotions too. And Jasmine, hi Jasmine,
Hi,
welcome to the
Jasmine.
Hello.
give heart some more. Winnie, Winnie, how important is leadership in fostering a positive workplace culture, and what roles does, like you mentioned just now, emotional EQ play in this?
One of the problem is right. Leadership mentality is all about driving results. Don't you
Mm,
agree? As a matter
mm,
of fact, right, it's about shaping the entire experience at work. But leadership is so focused in the final outcome that they forget to manage the process or the journey to get there. So managers do set the tone, yeah, whether they realize it or not. If a leader is distant, reactive, or dismissive, that energy ripples through the team. So, but when a leader is present, listens, and genuinely cares, people feel it. We have heard this over and over again. Again, I think even in the course of this conversation for the last 25 minutes, we've said this again and again. People don't leave bad jobs; they leave bad managers, and it's true. Okay, studies have even shown 70% of the variance in team engagement is driven by managers, according to Gallup. That means leadership isn't just a factor in culture; it is the culture. So, one thing that needs to evolve the belief that authority equals leadership.
mm,
Command and control style doesn't work anymore. Employees today are one transparency, empathy, collaboration. Leaders need to move from do this because I said so to how can we solve this together. That's where emotional intelligence EQ comes in. Leaders with high EQ don't just manage, they connect. They can read the room, understand what motivates their people, and adjust accordingly. I've seen managers who excel technically but struggle with people. The ones who succeed long term, they lead with EQ. They check in, not just check tasks.
mm,
Then and also they understand that trust isn't given, it's earned. An example that I like to share as to how, as a company, we impart EQ into our leadership as part of the culture or the way we operate. So the way we do this is we have something called the walking management, an initiative designed to foster genuine human-centered leadership rather than just top-down oversight. Every manager and above is required to meet at least one employee per month for a casual, one on one conversation. No agenda, no force structure, just a real check in. Why? Because engagement isn't about policies, it's about presence. These conversations help leaders develop emotional intelligence by actively listening, showing empathy, and building trust. And here's the critical part, yeah. These conversations aren't just talks. If there's an issue that comes up, it is logged in our system, assigned to the right person for resolution, and tracked for accountability. If no concerns are raised, the conversation is still logged as a vital update, providing real time insights into the team's sentiment. So this isn't just about engagement. It's also about shaping the leadership's behavior. It ensures that our leaders aren't just managing teams, but truly connecting with them. And when leaders lead with EQ, the results speaks for themselves. Higher engagement, lower attrition, stronger team performance. Isn't it?
mhm. Absolutely. Right, Ajit?
Yes, I like the part where you say, it's not so much about the empathy; it's more about how they connect, and you encourage them to have regular conversations with their employee at least once a month. Fantastic! I think that's a marvelous initiative. It's all about building the connectivity with employees. Really, I
Correct.
agree. I agree with you. Now, I want to bring it to different different level now. Let's talk about how do we measure all this. It's nice to talk, it's nice to say, it's easy to we need this, we need that, we need to have EQ and all that. Let's talk about a little bit about the measurement. Let's ground ourselves a little bit. How will we measure what is success when we do all this?
Mm,
How can we measure? So, measuring employee happiness is just not about sending out a survey and calling it a day. Yes, we have done our survey. We see this as a norm in in many organizations today, isn't it?
yeah.
It's about
Yep,
listening,
agree.
analyzing, and most importantly, acting on what you learn. Because let's be real, employees know when companies are just collecting feedback for the sake of it. If they don't see change, they stop engaging. And so the way the kind of engagement or the measures can be taken. First, there are engagement surveys, big structured assessment that gives a snapshot of how people feel across the company. But this needs to be more than just a checkbox exercise. One Abu told me once, I filled out so many surveys, but nothing ever changes. That's the danger of surveys without follow through, right? Then we have pulse check, short, frequent surveys that capture real time sentiments. Think of it as the workplace equivalent of, hey, how are you really doing? This helps leaders catch up small frustrations before even they snowball into disengagement. Feedback channels matter too, one on ones, town halls, even an open door policy if that actually means something to the company. If employees don't feel comfortable sharing concerns, the numbers in the survey won't tell the whole story. I once heard a leader say, if I'm only learning a problem of my people in an exit interview, I failed.
Mm.
So even exit interviews, they give us powerful insights, but are we willing to listen? And of course, retention metrics. They are the reality check. High turnover is loud and a clear sign that something's broken. So it's hugely the leadership's responsibility and managers needs to own it. They need to check in, not just check up. They need to be willing to hear hard truths and actually act on them. Well, sometimes you don't have an action, but acknowledging them. At the core of it, while we have all these tools to support us, we also need to be reminded that employee happiness is just not a goal, yeah, it's a journey, right?
Mm.
So think about when you win a client, how much of work goes in, how much of measures and KPIs are tied into financials to keep that client. That's the same thing that needs to go into your team members, isn't it?
Agree.
Correct. Yeah, that is so true. So it's really a journey. It doesn't end anywhere. It's just a process, and it also takes two hands to clap.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah, and it's a once a year affair.
Yeah, which brings me to the next question, which can be a once a year affair. But let's say hi to Harjit first.
Hajit,
And
yes.
Hi, Ajay.
and Joy says we have a good leader in our organization. That's why we are still here. Oh, that's so
Wow.
sweet. And then we
Music
have
to my ears.
and now Diana sends her love too. All right, which brings me to the once a year thing. Mm, do you think flexible work arrangements and external benefits such as company trips and bonuses become essential for keeping employees happy? Or are they just becoming a trend of today?
Perks, bonuses, trips, and even flexible work arrangements are great, but they are not a magic solution for employee happiness. If someone is already disengaged, a free trip won't make them stay. The real question is what makes people feel valued and supported in the long run. Flexibility isn't a trend, it's an expectation. The pandemic kind of changed how people think about work, and for many, the idea being forced into rigid schedules feels outdated. A study from McKinsey recently found that 87% of employees take flexibility into account when choosing a job. But it's not just about remote work, it's also about giving people autonomy over how they work best. That said, no amount of flexibility will also fix a toxic culture. If someone has an unsupportive manager, lacks trust, feels unheard, or lacks growth opportunity, all the hybrid work in the world won't change that. So perks like trips and bonuses, they appreciate it, but they can't replace the fundamentals. If companies rely on them to keep people happy, they're missing the point. Sustained happiness comes from purpose, connection, and growth. Again, it's repeated, not just rewards.
Mm. Perfect. And some bosses think they give just these little things and then it's sustained forever and ever. Yeah. Growth is one important area also. Talking about trends, right? Meaning, talking about the trend, social media nowadays has become a thing for organizations, right? How do you believe social media factors into employee happiness and what is the impact on it?
Social media has completely changed how employees engage with work. I even think, even for leaders for that matter, and how companies engage with employees. It's no longer just an external branding tool, it's an internal culture amplifier. Compensation is a perfect example of this. Good on you and your team, Sherry. Right? So, yay. Anyway, employees today aren't just looking at salaries and benefits. They're watching how their company shows up online. Are leaders authentic? Do employees feel empowered to share the experience? Is the company just talking about culture or actually living it? A LinkedIn study found that over 70% of job seekers look at companies' social media presence before applying. That's huge, yeah? Really huge. And it's just not for potential hires. Even existing employees want to feel proud of where they work. I've
Mm,
had people tell me, I love seeing my company wins on LinkedIn. It makes me feel like I'm part of something bigger. But here's where leaderships need to evolve too. Social media isn't just a marketing tool, it's a reflection of the company's culture. If employees don't feel safe sharing the experience, or or if leadership is out of touch, it shows. If employees see vibrant engagement, celebrations of success, small or big, and leaders who are visible and responsive, they feel valued. But if company social media presence feels cold, disconnected, and purely corporate, it sends a message that the culture might be the same, the old boring corporate. So, and social media isn't just a trend, it's an accountability mirror for company culture. Leaders need to get real, get involved, and most importantly, make sure that their team members feel proud to be part of that story.
I like that part. I like the part where social media plays a very critical role to make employees feel proud of being part of this organization. I think that part I would totally agree and totally concur. You know, the more we do, the more we publish, the more we talk about the organization, it just goes to show the kind of vibes that are in that organization. Totally agree with that.
Absolutely.
We have Mala. Hi, Mala. Mala saying hi to Vinny, Shireen, and me. Okay, a old long friend. Okay,
yay.
let's move on. Okay, now a little bit about balancing productivity. How can organization balance productivity demands with employees' well-being without compromising either?
You see, you can't have one without the other. It's like you're trying to say, drive a car without wheels. Sure, you could try, but you're not going to go anywhere fast, and you're probably going
Anyway,
to be
exactly.
burned out or dead by the process by the time that you complete the process. Well-being isn't something we separate from productivity. That's the first thing that we need to understand first. In fact, if anything, it's the foundation that drives productivity. In our company, we even say our people are our superhero. We actually have it as a tagline. When well-being fuels happiness, and happiness drives enthusiasm, motivation, and all those high functioning traits, why wouldn't it be a natural priority for organization to nurture this every day? Let's be real again, right? Companies are here to drive results and employees want to perform. But when productivity comes at the cost of well being, burnout sets in. And when burnouts happen, you lose engagement and eventually you lose your best people. So, why are we still treating well being as an afterthought?
Understand.
Isn't it?
Agreed. Agreed.
Yeah, that's so
Okay.
true.
So, what need to change, Winnie?
Stop equating busyness with productivity. A 2021 Microsoft study showed that over 50% of employees feel pressured to prove they are working. More meetings, longer hours, constant check-ins don't equal results. They just drain people. But leaders need to focus on outcome, not hours. And employees do not have to pretend not doing anything but look like busy. In those days we used to call it LLB, look like busy,
Look,
right?
let me see.
Yeah. Yeah. So focus on outcomes, not on hours. Next, make well-being a performance enabler, not an afterthought. Okay. Research from Oxford University found that happier employees are 13% more productive. Higher performance isn't about grinding 24/7. It's about being mentally and emotionally engaged. Leaders need to normalize rest and integrate well-being into work culture. Then we have flexibility. Isn't just about remote work, it's about control. A recent Gallup study found that 54% of employees want flexibility in where and when they work. The best companies give their teams autonomy over how they work, leading to higher engagement and better performance. Also, train managers to recognize burnout before it happens. Burnout isn't always vocalized. A study by
Mm.
Deloitte revealed that 77% of employees have experienced burnout in their current jobs. So leaders need to recognize the early signs like missed deadlines or disengagement and adjust workloads even before it's too late. Because at the end of the day, burnout isn't a badge of honor. And leaders who recognize that, they build companies people want to stay in.
Amazing.
Amazing. This is the missing link. Managers
Mm,
being able to recognize burnout. I think this is one of the biggest challenge Malaysian managers has got. They only know how to push for demand for productivity, but when it comes to recognizing burnout, I think there's still some room for improvements.
I think we
Personally, I
need to.
think it's a leadership concern everywhere, just not in Malaysia. But maybe because we're so scoped in here, right? But it's a global
Hmm.
concern when it comes to leadership. That's why one of the questions when you talked about the EQ, it is so important to have that imparted of in your manager's KPIs. Even so, if it's not done genuinely, because how can you even recognize that burnout exists until and unless you have that kind of connection with people?
Mm, mm. And that's the one where sometimes you go on the, like you mentioned just now, once a month, just having an unstructured, a no agenda meet catch up with your,
Correct.
yeah,
Correct.
when you can probably know. So Mahler says, firstly, we need to ensure leaders are not burnout. The other way around too. Yeah, it's true. Yeah.
Exactly. Yeah.
Okay. So we've got Charlene. Hi, Charlene. Welcome to the show. My
Hi,
next
Shalin.
to you, Winnie, is something that is I'm very passionate about. It's about team building. Team building is one of the main gateways for many organizations to improve their employee engagement, right? So, in what way do you believe that continuous team building and feedback play uh, in maintaining high levels of employee engagement?
Let's break it down. I will tackle the first statement and then we'll get to the
Mm,
answer to the question. Before
okay.
that, let me tell you a brief story. Okay. Once I was in a graduate program. I was speaking to this in this university forum when I met this young grad. Let's call him Abu again. And he asked me what I did at work, or what I did for work. And I said to him that I'm a culture transformist. Then he went like, yeah, but what do you really do? Biasalah kan, he's a young graduate. Kan? And I said, okay, let's say that I create and measure happiness at work. And then he looked at me very queasily and said, well, I understand the word happiness and I understand the word at work, but I've
Mm,
never thought of putting them in the same sentence together. And it hit me. It was then that I got it. That what I believe Abu was talking about is a perception that many of us have, which is emotions in the workplace don't go together. So why did I narrate this story? Do we notice a lot of organizations involved in social and voluntary work, sports day, leisure, retreats, activities, call it engagement and do it outside the workplace, after hours, and even in the weekends to create a sense of engagement or purpose, but beyond the regular work hours? And then they create all the hype, the joy, everyone is happy and contented, but just for the day. Familiar?
Yes,
It's
very.
Yeah, so it's engagement, but out of workplace. Funny, isn't it? Just like Abu's perception, happiness and workplace don't really go together. So let's be honest. Too many companies think, let's throw in a 1 year outing, maybe some waterfall retreat, and call it employee bonding, and it ends there. But that's not how it works. Real engagement comes from continuous team connection and open, honest feedback. We've also seen companies spend thousands on elaborate team building retreats, only for employees to go back to work and still feel disconnected. Why? Because team buildings isn't about one big event, it's about everyday interactions. If people don't feel valued, respected, or heard at work, no amount of rafting trips or escape rooms will fix that.
Mm.
So now let's dive into the question. In what way can team building and feedback play in maintaining high levels of employee engagement? Number one, make team building a habit, not an event. Engagement isn't built in a single day. It's built in the small moments. It's in how leaders communicate, how teams solve problems together, and how safe employees feel to share their thoughts. Instead of one-off event, companies should focus on regular, meaningful interactions, whether that's weekly huddles, peer recognition programs, or simply making space for casual conversations, or even office events. And then we have leaders that needs to be part of it. Nothing kills team engagement faster than leaders who say, okay, go bond with your team, but they don't participate themselves. Employees look to their leaders for cues on culture. If a manager is distant, disconnected, and only cares about results, team will feel the same. Leaders need to actively engage, be present, and show that they care about their people, not just their KPIs. And then on the feedback, it has to be two-way street. Here's the reality here that I keep repeating again and again. Most employees don't leave companies, they leave bad managers. And a big part of that is feeling unheard. If feedback only flows downwards, it's not an engagement, it's control. Companies that thrive are the ones where employees feel safe to voice concerns, challenge ideas, and contribute to change. Simon Sinek once said, a team is not a group of people that work together. A team is a group of people that trust each other. And that trust, it builds through ongoing feedback, not just performance review. We'll take Google, which continues to be recognized as one of the best places to work till date, as an example. They have a culture of continuous feedback, not just for leaders to employees, but also from employees to leaders. Their teams operate on psychological safety, where people feel comfortable speaking up without fear of backlash. So, to sum it up, team building and feedback aren't extras, they are the foundation of a solid workplace. At the end of the day, happy teams aren't built in a day, they're built every day.
Mm. I love what you said, how you
There
said
you
it.
go.
Beautiful. Ajit, you were saying
I
something?
like I like the part. It's not it's the basics. Team building is the basics. You start there,
Yeah.
you build your team, then you come back to your office, you make sure that you continue with your other activities, your engagements, your interaction, your caringness, not only about the results, but also about your people. Spend some time, talk to the people, leadership going down. I like this idea very much. Thank you very much, Vinny, for sharing this with us. Okay, let's move on to the next part. In terms of tangible benefits, how can HR professionals measure the ROI investment, ROI of investments in employee happiness?
Okay, sure. Let's talk numbers. But first, let's get one thing straight in this session that investing in employee happiness isn't just a nice to have, it's a business strategy. And like any other strategy, it needs to show a return on investment. Some leaders still think of happiness as an intangible, but the data says otherwise. Happiness has hard financial returns. How do we measure it? Productivity gains equals to more output and cost. I'm just going to go very quickly on this right now. I wish I could give more detail, but I'm just mindful of the time. Okay. So, real talk, if a company is spending the same on salaries, but output increases, that's a direct financial gain. Next, we have lower turnover equals to less hiring cost. Another real talk, every time we lose an employee, we're not just losing a person, we're losing money, cost of recruitment, training, cost of productivity, and the impact on moral. So, keeping employees happy saves millions in churn cost. Next, better customer experience equals to more revenue. Customer satisfaction isn't just about product quality; it's about the CX that the employee delivers. then you also will see fewer sick days, which equals to higher efficiencies. At the end of the day, if you want to make a real financial case for investing happiness, there's a simple formula. Happy employees leads to higher productivity, and that leads to lower cost and ultimately more profit. So, see, happiness isn't a soft metrics, it's a profit driving force. And companies that ignore this, they're leaving the money on the table.
Mm, awesome. Lah. I don't know about everyone else, but I'm definitely going to replay this whole video again. I need to absorb a lot of what you said and really write detailed notes. So we've come to the end of the show. I'm surprised it's actually 2 o'clock. Do you want to go to a closing
Yeah,
now?
so fast, man. Time's passed. My
I know.
God, we have approached the
It's
end of our
always when you're
Interesting.
session.
having a very good time, a happy
Yes,
time.
Exactly. Today we are having a good time and we are feeling happy. That's the
yes.
difference.
Woo. Let's
Okay,
go to
we have
closing.
approached the end of our day. Thank you very much. So we would like to thank Vinny for such an insightful session and also bringing the happiness in our session today. And most of all, for this serious discussion today. Before we end the session, is there any way that the audience can reach out to you or keep in touch with you or be in touch with you if they have any further questions or even if they just want to get network with you?
Mm.
Absolutely. I'd love to have them on board. You can connect with me on LinkedIn, on Facebook, on Instagram, whichever platform that you feel comfortable to connect, and I welcome you. Thank you.
Okay. Okay, done. Fantastic. So you can connect with
And by
Vinny
the way,
via.
my social medias doesn't have weird names. I'm Vinny Raviraj, as it is. Okay, not a butterfly mama or a whatever. So yeah, just Vinny Raviraj.
Okay, thank you very much, and thank you, Vinny, for joining us. The hour seems to be too short today, and thanks again.
You're
Yeah.
very welcome, Shireen and Koljit, for having me and for all the audience that have stayed on this call till, yeah, for the last 1 hour. Thank you.
202, although my time is 4:02. And guys, if let me just do a part of the closing. And if any of you tuned in are HR and L&D managers or planning your trainings, do drop me an email at training@compassmind.com. Before we wrap up, our next HR TV session is in March. Will be live during the fasting month. So to all our Muslim viewers, happy fasting. I like to wish you all in advance. While you might not be able to watch us while having your lunch like you were today, we will have another insightful discussion next episode. So stay tuned to all our social medias for updates on our next exciting topic and speaker. Thank you for watching HR Intervention. Remember, serious discussions
It's
only.
only.
Bye.
Bye.
Bye
Bye.
bye.